welcome. How are you? How are you today? Welcome. This is going to be a goal setting session. My name is Natalia Nicholson, and I am just so happy to see you all. Sometimes on these webinars, it's so easy for it just to be a me talk, you listen. And we want to get rid of that today. We want to make it personable. So at the end, there will be a Q&A, and please do make sure that you get involved. So welcome, everyone. Like I said, introduce yourselves in the chat. My name's Natalia. I am here in Essex in Greater East London. I'm having one of those days today. I don't know who here can relate with that, especially us ladies who often just get curveballs thrown at us. So I get up this morning, my little boy was sick. I picked him up from school yesterday, and something just said to me, you know what, before you make any decisions about sending him to school, because I am that mum that, little sneeze, come on, you're fine, you can go in. I've got work to do. I am one of those mums. But something this morning said to me, let me give him a COVID test. And you know what happened, don't you? The COVID test is positive. Then I thought, let me check his little brother, even though there's nothing wrong with him. Guess what? His test also came up positive. So I have 2 young children at home, but we're going to do this. I'm in good energy. I'm in good spirits. So yeah, we often get thrown curveballs, and sometimes you just can't let them get to you. And I forgot to tell you the part where my internet's not working, so I'm actually using my mobile phone as a hub. So I've had one of those mornings today, but it's going to be a good day. This is the thing about when things go wrong, you really have to just make sure that you keep that energy upbeat and make sure that your day just doesn't continue in that manner. And that is what I plan to do. So having you beautiful people on this call is a way to uplift me, because I love when I'm connecting with people. It just lifts your spirits. So again, Toying, what you're going to get out of today, and all of you will get out of today, is really understanding about goal setting and wrapping what your goals are around your business. Because sometimes as entrepreneurs, they're really creative people, and that's what people don't understand. So actually what can happen is when we start a business, there's so many different whys to why we're doing it, whether they're monetary, whether it's making a change in people's life, whether it's just being tired of being in the rat race, whether it's just, there's something more out there for you and you're not quite sure what it is. And sometimes not understanding what that is means that we take what I call the gunshot approach. And we're just all over the place because there isn't really clear purpose, because our emotions are everywhere and we react to lots of our emotions. So when you're clear about what goals you need to have, it makes it easier for you to work a lot more strategically and in a system. So my name's Natalia Nicholson, and many of you might have also heard of this workshop through Barking Enterprise Centre. Barking Enterprise Centre has partnered with me to deliver this workshop today. So at the end of it, I will be putting links in. If anybody is tired of working at home and they live in the Greater London area and wants desk space, office space, Barking Enterprise Centre is the place to go. They might want some mentoring, workshops that sit outside this workshop. Please make sure you check out their events page. They do an array of workshops every single month. They are a very visionary community-based organisation that is all about helping the community, and understand that the makeup of communities, especially in London and Barking and Dagenham, are made up of so many different people, and they're there and exist to support those communities. So if you live in the UK in Greater London, make sure you check them out. Others would be coming from my own community, Women in Digital Business. So it's great to have you here, and it's just great to connect. I'm going to be doing a series of these workshops. Ari is going to put a link in the chat that will just allow you to see what we're running in the next 8 weeks. Today is partnered with the Beck, and next week we're looking at content marketing, also partnered with the Beck. And then we are going to continue to run sessions every single week right the way into March. And these are all lessons that are really going to help you mold, give structure and strategy to where you are and where you want to be. It's January, guys. Do not let March, April or May come in and you're still where you are right now. Have a plan. Have a plan. If you do not plan, you plan to fail. Your plan doesn't always go according to plan, but at least now that you've got a framework of a navigation map, you can navigate yourself around all the bumps in the road and get to where you're going. It's really, really important. So let's get started. So today we're really going to look at how to have your best business year and make goals a reality. It is January, okay? And January is the start of the year. And psychologically, at the start of the year, we tend to be rearing to go. We tend to be open to change. We tend to be a lot more focused. Use this workshop because I want to make sure you keep the focus going past this month and next month, and you put a plan together after this lesson to really think about where do I want to be in 12 months and start really working towards that, because it is so easy to fall off the wagon. Okay, and I'm talking from experience. So easy. So what I really want to look at first and foremost is I want to look at the failure cycle. Okay, and this is something that every single human being goes through. What happens is you get excited. So let's take January, for instance, even for me. So May is my 10-year wedding anniversary and we're off to the Maldives. So now I want to get, swimsuit ready. About to give my age, but in my 40s, had 3 children, want to get back. Not everything is about business. I want to get back to that place so I don't look at the pictures and get depressed. So we booked this holiday and I'm really, really excited. Okay, and what's happened to me in the past? Luckily, it hasn't happened yet. What's happened to me in the past is I do this every January. I think, right, new year, I had literally one kid after the other. So I was pregnant and breastfeeding from 2013 to 2017. And every January it'd be the same thing. I'd get excited, get ready to lose the weight, and then it'd be like, do you know what? We just got over Christmas. Let me find my feet. So what happens? You avoid. I really want to start that business. I need to start thinking of where I want to be, what I want to do. I need to do X, Y, and Z. But, January's just come. It's cold outside. Or let me just get the kids sorted and settled into school first. Let me do X, Y, and Z. Let me have a clear out. Let me help mum, auntie, community. And we avoid things. After avoidance, what naturally happens is we start to make excuses. So the excuses will come in. I've made excuses, and they are excuses, rightly or wrongly, even though some of you might say, oh my God, I can relate to that. The excuses would come, it's because I'm breastfeeding, and breastfeeding just makes me really hungry. And it just keeps making me eat. And that's why I just can't stick to the healthy eating plan that I've got. The workshops that are available or the mentor that's available to help me start my own business is only available on Wednesdays, for example. Wednesdays is the day that I have to be an Uber for the kids. I have to do this, that, the other. I have to clean the house. The excuses will keep coming. Once the excuses come, what happens is we go into blame. I just want to start my side hustle business, but my boss is just so stressful. I haven't got the headspace. They're just on my back all the time. I can't take it. And this happens. And when you're pointing the finger, for any of you that can see me that's in the camera, when you point your finger, you have 3 fingers that point back to you. And as harsh as the reality might seem, there are many times that I do it all the time to this day. Like, my husband will say something to me, like, oh, because of this whole weight loss thing, he's always sending me these Instagram pictures of women that have gone from me really big to really small. He's always sending me these recipes on telling me that, if we eat from the ground, you're going to be so much more healthier. We won't get diseases. And I know all this stuff, but I get on the defensive because in my mind, I'm like, how many things do you want me to do? The business is taking off and going in different directions. I've got that to deal with. I've got the kids. I've got to run up and down, taking them to all these different classes like I'm their Uber driver. I've got homework to do them. Keep the house clean, make sure my mum's all right, who's now retired and lives down the road from me. I'm going to the gym already. I'm eating healthily. Now you want me to take on, making sure my body's more alkaline. I'm drinking the right type of water. How many things do you want me to do? And I get stressed. And then when I calm down, if I want to make changes in my life, they are down to me. I cannot blame anybody else. He was just trying to be helpful. But as adults, we're not children anymore. We don't see it as we don't see it as accountability because there's so much going on in our lives. And that's what you're going to get out of today's workshop. It's taking things and making sure that you're focused on them in the right order and sticking to a plan. Because I've got started going to the gym. I don't eat carbs in a day. I've stuck to that since the 1st of January. Let me make that a habit first, and then I can keep stepping it up, rather than trying to do everything. So then I then avoid excuses and blame. And what happens after blame? When we don't start seeing the results that we want, or we're not getting what we want, because we're not a child and we can't throw ourselves on the floor and have a full-blown tantrum, we just go right back to the beginning of excitement and find something else to be excited about and start the cycle all over again. So many of us live in this cycle, live in this cycle, live in this cycle, and we don't come out of it. And it's hard. What keeps us in this cycle? We have 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot, okay? And with those 40 to 60,000 thoughts, what happens? Most of them come from the past. So they come from things, maybe teachers, maybe parents, maybe family, friends, significant people within our past that had an impact on us, that gave us limited beliefs. Like, I believe nobody has the right to tell anybody they cannot do something. You know, I remember sitting in my library at school at 14 years of age, telling the careers advisor that I wanted to be the first Black female prime minister of Jamaica, and her laughing till there was tears coming out of her eyes, telling me I need to set my heights a lot lower. At bare minimum, I might be a social worker, and even then, that's going to be really hard for somebody like me. So these are things that stick with you when you're in a stage and you've got that desire to do something. Past thoughts will come to you and they will hold you back. 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day is a lot. So if you're spending 90% of your thoughts focusing on the past, how the heck are you going to get to the future? How are you going to have confidence in yourself? How are you going to break through imposter syndrome? You're not. So one of my first advice to you is stop thinking or living in the past. There's some of you that might have some things that you need to deal with in the past. Go and get that started. Go and get that sorted, if that's what's holding you back. I've got a little trick. So I've got post-it notes all around my house, where I wash up in the kitchen window, and mainly on my car dashboard, where that's kind of my daydreaming time. Don't worry, I don't have accidents on the road. But it's called CYT, catch yourself thinking. Okay, catch yourself thinking is really, 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 really important, because when you catch yourself thinking, you're like, nope, let me look to the future. And let's talk about the future. You see, this was one of my problems. Once I learned that I don't need to be thinking about the past and limited beliefs and putting myself down and thinking about the confidence that I haven't got and thinking about all the things that dictates why I shouldn't have the goals that I want. So I then started looking into the future so much. I was living in the future, meaning everything was when I'm going to get there. I don't know how many of you have read books like The Secret, where it talks about manifestation. So now I'm just talking about the future, meaning I'm not actually living in the now, because all I keep saying is when I get to 7 figures, when this happens. Yeah, be present in the now. Understand where you want to be and live in the now. The future is what will pull you out of the past. The future is what helps you manifest. So now I understand to use the future, it fuels my desire. You know, getting to a place where I can have 7 figures just to have freedom and flexibility to grow my kids up, who are boys of color. They're Black boys living in the UK, to get them to understand that, you know what, you don't have to work twice as hard. You just need to work smartly, more strategically, and teaching them about entrepreneurialism, teaching them to understand and be reliant on their own skill set, teaching them to have strong minds, working with their dad to make sure that they become men that I can be proud of. You know, working with my daughter, same thing. These are the things that give me the freedom and flexibility to be able to work on, giving my mum experiences to break blueprints that she came from, that she can, you know, finish off her life in retirement. So now I use all of these things to really look at what my life is like in the future, but living in the now to have a plan that's going to get me to the future. And living in the past is not going to help. And this is something we naturally all do. Okay, you can look at psychology studies. Once you finish this session, you can go and look about the amount of thoughts we have and how many people think about the past. And it's one of the biggest things that holds us back. This is not something new, I'm actually telling you. People that have got the right mindset, they understand this, they know this, they're doing it. So what holds us back? Procrastination. So we want to break out this failure cycle. So I've given you a first tip, get out the past. The second one, to stay out of procrastination and to stay out of this failure cycle, there's 4 things that I really want you to look at. And 4 things that help us stay in that procrastination and that failure cycle that we want to get out of. Number 1, it's having wrong goals. What do I mean like that? Many of us, especially as entrepreneurs, tend to be one or the other. Some of you might have read about being left-sided. That's the right, actually, being right-sided brain or left-sided brain, or a bit of both. And these are the things that fuel the way that you think. This stuff can get really interesting. But we are applying this to business, so let's stay on track. So wrong goals, setting our goals too high. This is one of my problems. Yeah, it's January, I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the year. This is what I used to think, like, for real. Like 7 years ago, always setting these huge business targets. I'm going to be where I want to be. I'm going to buy a massive house outright. It's going to have grounds. But did I actually have a strategic plan on how to get there? No. So now it's a dream. So how do you get to turn that dream into reality? You know, you have to set goals that you believe in. There are so many books out there that will help you. Every January, I read Think Rich, Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. You got books like The Secret that's really will help you in terms of your creative mind, about manifestation. You know, Miracle Morning's another one. Really, really good book. You know, breaking habits. Why can I not remember the name? I just finished reading the book a couple of weeks ago. There's so many books out there. Find them. But if you're going to set a goal that you don't really truly believe in, or you cannot explain to me how you're going to get there, the goal is way too high. And then there's some of us that set goals way too low. They're so easy to get over. It's kind of like, yeah, you know, I said that I was just going to put myself out there, do some posts, you know, every week on social media, and that's my start to getting it happening. When really you want to, you know, you've got all these dreams and aspirations of helping people, employing people, helping the wider community. So starting there for someone, that's quite low. We all handle different things. You know yourself. So setting wrong goals can be a big problem. Try to set your goals realistically at a level that are achievable, and you're not overstretching yourself, but you're not understretching yourself. Having unclear goals is a problem. You should be able to close your eyes, and this is where manifestation comes in, and be able to look ahead on your journey and see what it looks like in your mind at the end destination. Like, I literally used to sit there sometimes and used to, in my head, look, everything's gone cashless, hasn't it? So I would think of seeing the amount of people enter our community and what that would look like in terms of the screen digitally. I would visualize being in training rooms and speaking, and what that would look like, and the feeling. I would think about what it would be like. I went through a horrendous stage. I had failed businesses. I almost went bankrupt. I owed the bank's money, people money, my friends and family money. It was the most humiliating part of my life, and I didn't see my way out of it. And it's funny that happening to me was the most significant thing to brought me to where I am now. It was meant to happen to me. And there were times that I used to think about seeing myself out of that debt, and tears would roll down my eyes at just the feeling of knowing that I could overcome where I was, because where I was felt so horrible. So when I talk about having a clear focus, I want you to be able to close your eyes and look where you're going to be. And that should fill you with so much joy and excitement of actually achieving that. You start to manifest it because you're feeling those feelings. And I know it seems like all heebie-jeebie stuff, or can I really visualize a parking space? But when we talk about laws, whether it's the law of gratitude, the law of manifestation, you know, the law of visualization, when we talk about the laws, they all go hand in hand. One law doesn't work without the other. And I think that's what sometimes we don't understand. The third thing why we live in the failure cycle a lot is because we have no action plan. And this is a fundamental problem. And this is why the Women in Digital Business community even exists, by the way. This is why organizations like the Beck exist. You have to have a plan. You have to have a structured strategy. Without strategy, without clarification, without that plan, you're going to find it very, very difficult to move from where you are to where you want to be and take such a big leap. It will almost be like a quantum leap. And it can't just be a document that was, you know, a template of a business plan given to you by a bank manager or an institution. Your action plan needs to literally be, what will you do every year, every month, every week, every day, every hour? Yep. So little by little, you build your power. So start with, what will I do every day to achieve the goal? That every day will go to every week, every month, every year, as you grow and grow and grow and flourish. The fourth thing that keeps us in the failure cycle is mental barriers. You have to be able to push past and break through imposter syndromes, not believing you can do it. There's someone in the chat that I loved it, that put what their goal is, that they were going to be the biggest supplier of sensory uniform. I just loved it. The fact that you knew what your goal is, you know, you're halfway there already. It's just having that assertiveness of understanding and knowing what your goal is, so you can just break through mental barriers and have a clear action plan. But you need to know what you're doing every day. And yet the mental barriers come from you just not having belief, for you not being able to say your goal out loud. You know, that's where Miracle Morning Book really helps me. I get up every morning, I meditate, I've got a mantra, I work out, I do exercise, and it makes me feel good. And it makes me, at the end of it, feel like my day is going to contribute to getting me closer to my goals, because I'm enough for me and my team is enough to go forward. That's one of my mantras. So mental barriers are key. It's time for you to focus. And anybody that is not on the same page as you, I think you know what I'm saying. Need to go. They need to go. So what happens? How do we break through from our current reality to our preferred reality? So preferred reality conditioning is where you're really going to start to break this. You're going to come out the past. You're going to start setting yourself the right goals. You're going to have a clear focus, understanding where you want to be. You're going to get an action plan together, so you understand what you need to do to get your goal from day to week to month to year. You're going to break through mental barriers and really start believing in yourself, believing in what you're doing, and just have that faith, have that desire. Start reading books, start feeding yourself with stories of success. Just be in the present and push forward to where you want to be. Have faith in yourself that you can do this. So what you need to do is break from your current reality to your preferred reality. And you're going to have a big resistance to change, RTC, through this. I'm going to give you an example. So I remember when I was going bankrupt. So I've got offices. I used to run a multicultural online bookstore. So I've got offices, got a few staff. You know, this time I knew it was coming, but I wasn't prepared to admit it. And a day came where I actually went to the cash point machine. And back then, if you didn't have enough money in your account and you was overdrawn, it would just take your card away from you at the cash point machine. I don't know if that still happens, but in those days, that is what happened. And that's when I knew that I'm going to have to say something. I can't keep pretending. And I remember coming out of a supermarket that was called Summerfields. In my local area, and I saw someone that I used to go to school with, and they were like, "Oh my God, how are you? I heard you started your own business. How's it going?" And then I was like, "Yeah, it's going really well. You know, could be better, but at the same time, the name's out there, the brand's fantastic. You know, we're doing sponsorships on the radio station," which I just couldn't afford to pay the bill. And I'm talking about this business and what I'm doing, thinking where I would like it to be in the future. I'm not facing the reality that actually I am days away from losing absolutely everything. Okay. And that was my current reality, but I prefer to talk about my preferred reality. You need to be able to understand where you are now, accept it and embrace it. And social media doesn't help now in this day and age. There are many, many, many people that are online telling stories about themselves, you know, how you can follow their system, do what they're doing, and they might not be in their preferred reality. So in essence, they make things look easier than what they actually are. There is nothing, if you're going to achieve anything great, if you're going to be an expert, if you're going to be great, you cannot name me a great leader, a great person, whether it's, you know, Henry Ford to an Oprah Winfrey, that hasn't gone through extreme hardship, hasn't gone through bumps in the road to get to where they are. And when you realize your current reality and you're transparent where you are, there's power in vulnerability. Power in vulnerability. I like to tell it as it is. I pride myself. That's what I was about to say, in telling it as it is. And there are times where I'm on panels and I'm on forums and I'll be like, I don't remember it being like that. You know, it's a bit like having children. I thought it was hard in the beginning. People said it would get easier as you grow. A business is like that. Even as you grow and you make more money, more problems. You've just got a different set of problems. I'll keep it real with you there. But you have to accept where you are now. If you understand your current reality, you won't set goals really so far apart that you can't even achieve them. Make sense? So, you know, to really break through that resistance of change, your visual faculty is really important. What you see on the screen of your mind. Shakespeare actually said, what is on the screen of your mind is just a play of what's about to happen. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Use your visual faculty. Like I said, you know, look and see that, okay, you can see yourself where you want to be. Mentally rehearse what it feels like to reach your ultimate goal. You know, I have a team, and my team are like family. They're not all based in this country, and there are times where I mentally rehearse what would it be like to meet each other, because we've been on such an amazing journey over the last 5 years. What does that look like to me? And just the emotion when I think about it, and I'm mentally rehearsing it in my head. It's amazing to meet, and we, you know, not just me, but my whole team is at 7 figures, and we can talk about it. You know, becoming other people centered. Really important. If you're doing something in business, it can't just be for the love of money. Money is just paper. It's just, I was reading The Witches by Roald Dahl to my kids. Not reading, I'm reading it at the moment to the boys. And it spoke about how witches had printing machines and they just print money out. That's why they're so rich. And the reality is, when I was reading it, money is just paper. You know, our relationships with money can be a problem. So when you create something, it's about being other people centered. These 8-week series have not been come up just about the good of my business. It was really sitting down and thinking, okay, I've created a community called Women in Digital Business. I want to serve underrepresented women, because I felt really wrong done by as an underrepresented woman that wanted to get ahead in business. I didn't feel like the support was there. I felt like it was just always a slap in the face, which is why I created this community. So it's about, regardless of what you do, working with children that are autistic, mentoring, working with local businesses, trying to rise them up. There's a lot of other people-centered stuff that I've heard on this chat before we started this. So becoming other people-centered in what you do, it's just the law of life, isn't it? You know, karma, what goes around, coming around. Being other people centered is huge. It really does make you break out of living in a false sense of security and understanding your reality to your preferred reality. It helps with the law of gratitude. You know, sometimes I complain and I think about, there's people that haven't even got a roof over their head, running hot water, a hot meal to eat. Just having that self-awareness of thinking about other people, it really does help you get to where you want to be and break through that resistance to change, of really understanding where you are as an individual and where you prefer to be, and how you're going to break through and get there and stay grounded. So self-scripts, you're talking to yourself right now as I'm yakking away, yak, 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 yak. You're thinking, even as I'm talking to you, I have things running through my brain. I'm even saying to myself now, Nat, check yourself on some of the things that you're saying, because you could do with some refreshers. We have constant thoughts, 40 to 60,000 of them. That scripts going around in our head. Change those scripts, change the use of language, change the confidence and thoughts that you have about yourself. All the things that I've spoken about today, take them, and your visual and your visual faculty and the scripts of your self-talk, change them. Mentally rehearse things. Think of others. Okay, and all of this will help you to become more focused. Your plans will become more strategic. You'll manage your emotions, your work-life balance. These are all the things and goals that most of us have in this list up here. And by able to really understand the failure cycle and how to stay out of it and how to push yourself through, is going to help you to set goals and make sure you stick to those goals. All of this is really, really key in terms of you setting goals and staying out of that failure cycle. But next, what I want to look at is a multiplier effect. So our goals are important. If you're clear about your goals, if you have got an action plan, if you can, you know, look and see where you want to be, I want you to all think about the positions you're in now. I want you to think about the businesses that you run, the businesses that you're about to start. And the multiplier effect is just taking what I just spoke about and adapting that to actual business. Okay, so there we go. Sorry. Little steps make a big impact. So like I said to you, little by little, we build our power. So I haven't met a business owner yet that doesn't want more customers, more revenue, and more profit. Even if you're at the starting point and you've only got a handful of customers, you know, we always think that we've got to do something big. Does that make sense? It's the same thing that I'm speaking about in the failure cycle. Little by little, you build your power. Those things that I gave you are a whole load of little steps, but do them one by one. No one's asking you to do them in a week. For whatever reason, especially in this digital age, it's like everything is like this pop-up life. It's got to happen immediately. We don't give ourselves enough time, which is why we end up in that failure cycle, always going back to excitement, looking for something else. Even if you haven't got any customers yet, use what I'm saying and go and get some. Because sometimes we're always looking for this big aha that's going to let this floodgate of customers in, rather than just looking at the multiplier effect and just taking our time and building up our strength. So little steps really do make an impact. So certain specific strategies that we're going to focus on that produce the multiplier of your effects is actually what we're going to look at next. So it's very common for people to focus just on promotional activities as a way to generate more inquiries. So whether that's through social media, I've got to do more posts, I've got to do more presence. One of the things we forget about is simple, good old return on investment. Make no mistake, that's why my first business actually went under. I failed to look at return on investment, constantly looking at promotions, constantly looking at advertising, constantly thinking that once this message or this ad drops, boom, you know, my target audience is just going to know about it. And if there are 10 million of my target audience and I do one ad and only, you know, a few people see it and like it and they buy, oh, that just means great, yeah, I'll be an instant millionaire. It just doesn't work like that, because it is little steps. You have to build relationships with people. So it's not just promotional activities that you don't have to keep constantly looking for new things. And this is the thing about the failure cycle. That excitement part will keep holding you back. Because when we don't see the results that we want in business, we just go and look for something new. That's why some of us are constantly on courses or programs, because the minute something's not working, we just go and look for something new rather than being able to push forward. And yes, it is important that we focus on promotion, because we have to let people know about us, but there are other areas to focus on in terms of pushing forward. So think about what your goals, think about your goals, think about the failure cycle, think about what I told you, you know, setting goals at the right stage, understanding what your goals are first and foremost, focusing on those goals and really being able to close your eyes and see where you want to be. Having a plan, that's really important. And this 8-week series is really going to help you towards having a plan. And for those of you that really want to fast track and have something structured to help you plan, I've got something for you at the end of this lesson. Mental barriers, break through those mental barriers. So we already know that being visionary, being other people centered, having that mental rehearsal in your head, your self-talk is going to really be able to help you control that. But when you're looking at your business, it's the same things. You should have a goal. What goal? How many customers do you need? Okay, I want you to, after this workshop, if you've got a notepad, I want you to be noting this down. What is your goals for this year? Even if it's for the next 90 days, how many customers do you want? How many sales or revenues will those customers bring you? If you've got different products or services, think about that and calculate it. Out of that, what is the profit? Because we've all got running costs, whether it's software, whether you've got a VA, whether you've got a team of people, a sales force, what's the profit out of that? And then think about the time and stress from you that takes. Also, that time and stress applies to customers, because when you do this exercise, depending if you've got different products, ranges or services, you might have some customers that are less stress or more stress. Start thinking about that. Because when you're new in business, actually, that's crap. It's not when you're just new in business. When you're trying to reach that goal, you will just, the sell, you're so hungry for the sell that you'll just take it. And there are some customers that will be really high stress, and actually the revenue and the profit that you get from them doesn't actually marry up with the time and the stress. So I want you to go back. You're going to get a replay of this. So I want you to go back and specifically look at what's your goal. How many customers do you want? Do you need? Your goal could just be to break even and be viable. Okay. Look at the types of customers that you've got. Then look from those customers, what sales and revenue are coming in from them. Okay, then look at how much profit you're getting from those different customers, and then look at the time and stress being spent on those customers that are giving you the sales and the profit. You're going to start to draw a very realistic picture. Now, numbers was never my strong point, and some of you might be the same. And I'm very creative and hands-on, but the numbers tell a story. You have to come back to the numbers. When you're setting goals, you have to come to numbers, but it's not just goals to profit. So I want you to go away and really, really think about this. Little by little, we're going to build our power. So now what I want you to do is, now that you've looked at that, is look at, okay, so what does a 50% profit increase look like? For those of you that have got customers already, you're working in an organization that's got customers, does that make any sense? What does a 50% increase look like? How do you actually get there? Okay, so little increases in each of these areas can multiply and create a sizable increase of profit. So you might find that you have a lot of customers that come in from another community, come in from word of mouth. Not everything is about what's the new digital strategy I can put in place. Okay, think about where you are now. For you to make sure that you don't go back into that excitement stage because something's not working, think about what is working right now. Where are your customers coming from? How can you multiply and create a sizable increase in profit? And by the way, who would like 50% increase in their profit? So now what we're going to do is we're really going to turn the profit growth. It's important to understand that we are already busy. So you don't have time for large projects right now. Simple, easy steps is the key. Okay, do you agree? How many of us are always chasing for this big thing, the next big thing? How many of us get distracted by shiny object syndrome, where you think, right, this is going to show me, this is going to help me, this is the way, I'm going to fast track, I'm going to get there. There isn't a fast track. It's about working strategically. You have to put the work in, and you do it little by little. You don't have to go looking for that next big thing. So let's see if we can increase profits within a business, your business, starting off in a business with manageable steps and without blowing the budget or making money the thing that why you never do something. Oh, because I can't afford it. There's small things that you can do. Okay. So let's look at where you get your inquiries from. Your inquiries are leads. Okay, so let's say you might be running Google ads. Let's say you might be dropping leaflets. Let's say you're doing a networking. Let's say you're even just picking up the phone, or you've got a sales team. Where are you getting your inquiries from? If you're in real startup mode, think about, where will I get my inquiries from? And think about your time. So many times we're startup thinking, yeah, I've got to do social media. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I'm getting out of breath just talking about it. Okay, so where are your inquiries coming from? From the inquiries that you're getting, how many of those convert into customers? Okay, when they convert into customers, how much sales and revenue is that getting you? So think about it. If you could double your inquiries, you would what? Double your conversions, which means you would then double your profit. And again, think of the time and stress. Now you're not having to implement big projects. You're not having to take on the big next thing that's going to make you the multi-millionaire or get your business to where it needs to be. There's no secrets hiding around the corner. To get to your goals, you want to make sure that you stay out of that failure cycle and you don't get back into excitement looking for something that is just not there for you. That's just going to be you wasting time, shiny object syndrome, and just feeling like, why can I never get ahead? Look at where you are now. Look at where are you getting your inquiries from? How many of them convert? And if the answer is no, you've got a point to start with. And this is what I'm saying to you about working and thinking about more strategically. Within the Women in Digital Business community, like I said, I've got something for you at the end of this session. It's all about taking the time out and looking into the detail, being strategic, and then being able, when you're making these small decisions, to make very informed ones, because you understand your business and you understand your customers. When you understand your customers and you understand their pains and their challenges and what your offering is that helps them overcome any pain and challenges, you start to see a difference. But you're not going to the next big thing of, I'm going to launch a big massive Facebook ad campaign. Now that I know how to do Facebook ads, it's going to happen for me. I can, build a funnel, CRMs, content marketing. There's so many things about digital marketing. But actually, in terms of you becoming profitable and getting your sales up and making sure that you can actually reach your goals and your business is wrapped around your goals, start with small steps. Inquiries. How are we going to increase inquiries? How are we going to increase the conversion? How's that going to increase the revenue? And that's going to put your profit up. I don't know if you know, the average business can put their prices up by 20% and it wouldn't actually make any difference to their sales. FMCG is a good example of that. Most food products have gone up by 20%. Has that stopped anybody from buying them? Some could argue, yeah, but we need food. Trust me, the food we buy, we don't need. A lot of it is a want, not a need. So I want you to go away and I really want you to look at your customers, how many customers you're getting. Well, first of all, I want you to look at where your inquiries are coming from. If you haven't got any, think about where will you get those inquiries from. Start small, start somewhere. Stop waiting for the big thing or having to plan everything out. Get the inquiries in or get them up. If you get them up, you get more customers. Look at your customers, look at what they're buying, look at the sales and revenue that they bring in. You might decide to focus on one area of your customer segments because actually they're low maintenance, don't cost much to get in, and they give you bigger revenue and more profit margins. Look at that. Look at the time and stress that you have to put into your business, into your customers, and look at the variance of that and decide, okay, where am I going to start to get growth? Where am I going to start to have a goal of something that I can do every day, every week to start my journey on getting to where I want to be? If you've got no customers, get to 10. If you've got 10, get to 50. If you've got 50, get to 100. If you've got 100, get to 200. Okay, figure out what the goal is here and now and where do you want to be in the next 12 months and start taking small steps. Start taking the multiplier effect. Understand, to really get ahead. Stop looking for shiny object syndrome to go from 0 to 1,000,000. How can you just start? Because when you start seeing results and you start seeing things work, you stay out of this awful failure cycle. You don't go through it and keep choosing something new and going back to excitement, because you can see it working. Oh my God, I got 10 customers. Oh my gosh, I got 20. Oh my gosh, I got 40, 80, 160, and you keep doubling it. I've seen this on our Women in Digital Business program. I've seen in 12 weeks people pull a plan together, look at their position in the market, look at their team or themselves, look at their leads, how they get leads, look at their conversions, their selling, what they're selling, the different product range they've got, looking at their average dollar sale, looking at margins, cash flow systems, understanding their customer audience, really putting together a strategic system. And because they understand how they're going to get that goal, they can start implementing things slowly and you watch them just snowball. So by the time they get to the 12 months, they could have started at 1 customer a week, 10 customers a week, 20 customers a week. And then by month, it goes up and up and up. And by the end of the year, you are so much further into reaching your goal than you would, rather than living in this failure cycle, then getting to January 2023 and having to start all over again. And I talk from experience. I really do. I talk from a place of experience. So now I just want to talk to you about Empower. Okay. Empower is a membership site that the Women in Digital Business have put together. And it's a program. It's not just a membership site. It's a program, and that program is a 12-week program. And that 12-week program really looks at the foundation of where you are. It prepares you for mindset. So it leads on from today and gets your mind ready to fight those demons, fight those holes in the road, fight those red flags, and just make sure that your mindset is prepared for you to be able to achieve. It looks at, your revenue growth plan, putting an actual framework of a plan together. It looks at your business. It looks at your target audience. It looks at your segmenting them. It gets you to understand and know your audience better than you know themselves, so you can actually be able to market to them and they receive you. It looks at your sales roadmap. What's the journey that you're going to take the customer through? You have to build relationships. It goes through marketing strategies. Okay. It looks at financial freedom and what that looks like for your business. Then you've got another 6 weeks where it's all about scaling now. And this isn't a shiny object syndrome, just to be clear. This isn't the big thing. This is giving you strategy. It's one of the things that we fail at the most, not having a strategic plan, but a realistic one, not a business plan. This is a plan about understanding what your business is, what your offering is, understanding what the customer is, understanding everything so you can build relationships online. We now don't have the 5 senses. We don't see each other in the shop and be able to shake hands. Sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. That's all gone digitally. Well, hearing's still there and sight's there to an element, but it's not the same. You have to create human-to-human relationships online. But with that, you can't just go off doing social media or doing a course or doing Facebook ads. You have to be able to understand your business and your customer. You have to have a strategy and then start taking an approach like we spoke today and growing that at a rate that's realistic. But at least now, even if you did say, I'm going from $10 to $1 million in 12 months, this framework will actually help you make sure you get there. So if somebody said how, you could say how, without just living in the sky or keeping your dreams a dreams. This program turns dreams into reality. So that's the first 6 weeks. The second 6 weeks is looking at your business systems, your automation, your growth engine plan. What's your actual digital business process, procedure, automation, how tasks will be delegated, a company scorecard. Just like sports, if you don't score what you're doing, how can you get better at it? How can you see your failings or what's not working for your business if you're not actually scoring and you're not analyzing it at every single moment? And then a growth plan, a plan that is clearly mapped out visually of where it's going to take you to be in a viable business now that you have customers, you've proven that there's a need for your business. How do you scale that to get to that 6-7 figure place? And this has been put together because it wasn't until I did all of this, I just didn't grow. I was always just looking at that. All I've got to do is follow a system. This is not a system, it's a framework. These are lessons that you have to be present and go away and put the hard work in and apply it to your own business. It's not a follow me and you'll end up like me. This is your journey, not mine. So this is a framework. So there's additional bonuses. That comes with the program. There's a private community. We make sure that you go into small groups where you become each other's accountability partners. There's additional bonuses in the membership site, how to build your 7-figure business using a 7-step system. These are good to have and it keeps your mind fresh. 5 core principles of a successful entrepreneur and the ultimate e-commerce business checklist. So each lesson includes a summary and a playbook to give you actionable steps. So every single one of those 12 lessons that I just went through with you, you actually get worksheets, you get homework, you have to go away. And at the end of it, you have a big, fat, strategic Bible of where you are and how you're going to get there, which you would have started implemented and you will start to see the changes instantly. Okay. And we've also got private community for exclusive members. I think that page I clicked out of, because you also get a group coaching session. So at the end of each month, there is a group coaching session where you'll have that with myself. There we go. They're back up on the screen for those of you there. So you'll have meetings with me. They're in groups of 5. And you'll also get one-on-one business consultation for one person. So that's just for today, by the way. My team thought it'd be a nice thing to do because there've been some amazing businesses in here. And as we grow, we originally run a mastermind. And as we grow this year, what will happen is our profits at the end of every year, so the end of next year, will actually go back into help funding businesses that are viable, that are struggling. We understand that for every pound you know, a capital venturist invest in a business, only £1 out of that £1, only 13 pence goes to women. Once you start putting underrepresented women in that, it just falls below even a penny. So yeah, it's just a really, really great place to be. Ari is going to pop a link in that would explain it to you. I'm not here to give you any form of a hard sell, seriously. But if you are in a place where you need structure, you need strategy, you know what your goals are, and you just need help beyond today, because shiny object syndrome will keep coming in to just keep bringing you into that failure cycle. And it's not just an ordinary membership site, it's a 12-week program, and it's an intensive, and it's hardcore. Okay, this is like going to boot camp, where you're going to be out of breath, but you're going to have some muscles and have an amazing body afterwards. Literally, it is a tough boot camp. The lessons are serious. They're not fur coat and no knickers, for any of you that understands what that means from the UK. They are serious. They're intensive lessons. They're not light at all. And you get access to that for a year, along with the bonuses, plus you get the group coaching calls every single month. You're part of a community. You've got each other for an account management, accountability management even. And there's many other coaches and mentors that we bring into the community. So for today, for the next 3 days only, we have a gift for you. So I know some of you are thinking, oh, what ridiculous price is she going to come up with? So you've got $100 off if you use this code. Ari is going to put the code along with the link to this page of really going into depth about the program. If you've got any questions, please reach out to us. You've got the Facebook group you can join and ask. And there's also an email address that Ari is going to put in the chat that you can email us as well. So the code is EMP10026. That gives you a whole $100 off. You might think, are we crazy? Especially when I tell you the price, because I know some of you must be thinking, what is the price? Or have I got the screen hiding it? No, I haven't. The price is simply $297. So you then get a further $100 off. Okay, which is absolutely amazing. Even when I priced it at $297, there was a lot of people when we sent it out to test it, when it was in beta testing, that said that I was crazy. But ladies, I just remember doing stuff, masterminds and programs is what really helped put me on track and really helped me to scale and to get to where I am today. And even now I'm part of masterminds that have just got bigger and better people with huge turnovers that are millionaires that I just keep learning off of. And anything that I learn with these guys, I bring it back into my own community. But I remember when I was starting off and the sums were just ridiculous. And there's so many people out there now just making so many of these promises, and the information just isn't full of much depth. I just really felt the need to put something together that was meaty, that would mean that you wouldn't have to go anywhere else and you don't have to pay a lot of money. Our community is global as well, so you learn a lot of the other women in it. Our Facebook group is thriving. It's from underrepresented women from West Africa, South Africa, the Caribbean, America, and we're all running online businesses. We've all got so many other responsibilities apart from businesses. So the wealth and the things that we share in there, it just holds you up. It's a beautiful community. So if all you did was this to help you make a consistently increase your monthly sales, would it be worth it? It's $197. If all this did was take the overwhelm of marketing your product or your services, ask yourself the question, would it be worth it? If all this did was empower you to take action in every lesson to get to where you want to be, would it be worth it? You know, I really want you to ask yourself that question. God, I'm not doing well with my tapping, am I, at the moment? There we go. And yeah, you already know the answer. These are not big investments, but this is what you get, the value that we give in our community. We pride ourselves on it. It's one of our USPs. We pride ourselves on giving value, because if you make it, we make it. If you come on board, the more people that get to 6-7 figures in our community is the more that we get to give back and start funding women that are coming up that really have got brilliant ideas that have been tested and done, and we're able to help. You already know the answer. You already know the answer. So if you have any questions, please do let us know. And even outside of, questions about the program that I just told you about, even just about goal setting, even about the things that we just covered in this session, please let me know if you've got any questions. So I bid you an absolutely lovely day. You'll be hearing from us, and hopefully I will see you on the up and coming workshops that we are running live. Today, you was with Natalia Nicholson, founder of Women in Digital Business. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.